I have recently obtained a computer and I now have a mouse, and so for this video I'm going to make a mouse pad. I would like my mouse pad to be about 25 centimeters, so I'm going to add an extra 15 centimeters to the width. And because I'm doing a voiceover, I can tell you now that my mouse pad is finished that it turned out perfectly. It's the perfect size. So I am using a merino wool in this video, and the reason I'm going to use a merino wool is because I want the finest wool possible so that it's a very smooth mouse pad without any bumps. Because merino wool felts quite densely and because the fiber filaments are very tiny, my mouse pad will be less fuzzy compared to a thicker wool like Corriedale wool. I am laying out 4 crosshatched layers of wool. So far I have laid out 2 layers, and now I'm going to lay out a 3rd layer of my color, but you could lay out 3 layers of one color and then put your design on top. I actually made this kind of confusing. I have added a curve with the green and the yellow, and so that to me is a little bit confusing. Normally I would just lay the fiber straight across, and then for my final layer I would touch it up. But this is just a rough idea of what I think my pineapple and the shape that I need it to be so that when I cut it, there's enough space all around. I am now going to begin felting my mouse pad using the same process as I do in the How to Make a Piece of Felt video tutorial. So if you are new to felting and you are new to this channel, I highly recommend going back and watching that video, and then jump back to this video to watch the final finishing techniques. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can easily find the video again. And if you did subscribe, thank you so much, because it is so encouraging and it also helps me to make more videos. And also guys, I really want to know what kind of video tutorials that you would want to see. Now that my project is mostly felted and there's only 5 centimeters to go, I'm going to dry it on a towel for the purpose of drawing my design onto the felt using a marker. I'm also going to show you the entire process and what it takes to cut your shape and felt your shape. But I also didn't want this video to be so long, so at any point in time you can click settings and playback speed and slow the video down so you can watch the video in slow motion. This marker that I'm using to mark my felt and draw my picture is not a permanent marker. It says it's a permanent marker, but actually I found that last time I made a felt project and drew on it, it came right out. Another really nice way is to bring a piece of paper to your computer and trace around an image that you find on the internet, and then cut it out and bring it over and trace around that, or just pin it to your project and then cut it out. Now that I have cut out my shape, I am going to add a lot of water and I'm really going to work my edges. The very first thing I do when working my edges is I roll my project on all 4 sides so that my project shrinks more and the edges are worked while it shrinks, so this is less work to work your edges. After rolling for a few rounds, I will work the edges individually by rubbing my hands across the edges back and forth. I spent at least 15 minutes to half an hour working my edges. It can take some time depending on how many edges and corners you have. And for my pineapple, I have a lot of little tips, and so I had to work them individually. Once my felt is almost finished, I will begin felting my project on a dry towel. Scrunching up your felt and rolling it in your hands is a great way to even out the bubbles and lines in your felt so that they are going in different directions. But I usually don't keep it like this. I roll it back out. If you have a delicate design or intricate design or a picture on your project, you may want to be a little bit more careful when scrunching up your project, because it can easily go out of shape or become a little bit too blurred or fuzzy, and sometimes the design can get lost in the base fiber. I will pick up the edges and the fine tips of the felt and I will roll them to make them pointy, or I will roll them to make them round, and I will really get in all the crevices and corners, and I will make sure I roll and felt the edges on every side. At this point, the felt is going to shrink in the direction that you roll it. So if you would like an area to be more thin, rolling it in that area or crevice will help shrink it. Like the neck of my pineapple, I wanted these little corners to come in a little bit further. If for some reason your project is just not felting that well, it could be that it's just not ready to felt on a dry towel and you need to keep felting it with a lot of water. I only use the dry towel at the very end when I know my felt is almost finished. The dry towel will help take the water out, and it will help the felt to felt up even more tightly and smoothly. If you are using a soapy soap, you may want to rinse your piece of felt before felting it on the dry towel. I am still going strong with my edges. This is a process that requires a lot of patience, and the more you felt the edges, the nicer and smoother they will be. So I really recommend spending a lot of time working your felt edges to make them exactly how you want them to look. So after some time of felting my edges, I am going to continue felting them. I think next time I will use a pineapple picture from the internet, because I'm not sure what kind of pineapple this is, but I guess this is my pineapple style. The edges are beginning to look quite smooth and I'm really happy with it, and I kind of wish a little bit more of this yellow came through some of the edges because I think it looks quite nice, and this is what felting is all about, these little imperfections and these little special edges that make the picture unique. So now I am finished and I am ready to dry my pineapple, and this is one of the ways that I flatten it out. I either roll it with my pool noodle or wooden dowel, or I have this ink roller that works really well. It works really well for felted slippers, and if you're using a last or a shape that you need something to be smoothed out on, I highly recommend using an ink roller. And finally, I will give it a light shave with the razor to get all the fuzzy bits off once my felt project is completely dry. Also, because wool contains natural lanolin oil, and through the felting process it may have been almost removed, I have added some oil back into the mouse pad. I have rubbed some tea tree oil on it, and it's just nice so that the fuzzies are less fuzzy and it smells really nice. I have this natural non-slip yoga rubber mat. It's about 1 millimeter thick and it's going to work really well for the bottom of my mouse pad. And I don't recommend this, but I have no glue at my house at the moment, but I do have this carpet tape, so I'm going to use it temporarily. It does stick to the wool felt very well, but it does not stick to the rubber so well, and so eventually it will come off. My mouse pad is now done and I'm very happy with it, and it's feeling very smooth. So it is now time to try out the mouse on my mouse pad to see if it works. I'm very happy with how this turned out, and I have so many other ideas of what I would make for a picture for my felt mouse pad. And I really hope that this video inspired you and you have already thought of your own ideas and what picture you might make for your felt mouse pad. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video.